Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching TESOL Research Professional Council video series on K-12 Research Network. I'm Huili Hong and Chair-elect of RPC 2024 to 2025. The TESOL Research Professional Council's mission was identifying research priorities, recognizing and encouraging practitioner scholarship, and promoting research collaborations in TESOL. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce our guest speaker and teacher researcher, Dr. Shakina Rajendram, who is assistant professor at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education of University of Toronto in Canada. And she's going to share and reflect on her classroom-based research regarding translanguaging as an agentive, collaborative, and socioculturally responsive pedagogy for multilingual learners. Welcome, Dr. Rajendram. Please share a little bit more about yourself, your teaching, and research.
Thank you very much. My name is Shakina Rajendram, and I currently teach in the University of Toronto in Canada, but my PhD research was conducted in an elementary school classroom in Malaysia, where I used to be an English language teacher. And I'll start by talking about what motivated me to do this research. When I was an English teacher in an elementary school in Malaysia, where all of the students were multilingual and spoke at least 3 languages, I observed that most of my colleagues enforced a very strict English-only policy when they were teaching English. Students were often punished or seen as lacking proficiency if they used any language other than English in the classroom. And these policies stem from Malaysia's very long colonial history. But the English-only policies seem to make students feel very demotivated and afraid to participate in class. In fact, when I asked one student how it felt not to be able to use any of her other languages other than English, she said it felt like they're prisoners, like they were birds trapped in a cage. And so these experiences deeply moved me and motivated me to conduct my PhD research with the students and teachers in that school where I was teaching in order to examine and advocate for the potential benefits of translanguaging for multilingual learners. And translanguaging is when students use all of their languages and their language practices in a dynamic, flexible, and fluid way as part of an integrated language repertoire. And a translanguaging approach to English language teaching would leverage all of students' languages for learning and also for equity purposes, transforming English-only classrooms into spaces that are empowering for learners and reflective of their linguistic and cultural identities. My research asked the following questions. What are the affordances of translanguaging? What are students' reasons for translanguaging? And what are the factors influencing their use of translanguaging? And to address these questions, I conducted a mixed method study in 2 grade 5 classrooms in that school in Malaysia. I recorded students' interactions when they were working in small groups on various collaborative language learning activities. I conducted interviews with 55 students and their teachers. I collected their work that they completed in the classroom, and I kept field notes and a journal as well from a teacher researcher perspective of my classroom observations. My findings reveal that the use of translanguaging provided 4 types of affordances or benefits for students' learning. Firstly, translanguaging provided cognitive and conceptual affordances or benefits. Using all of the languages supported students' understanding of complex concepts and content. It enabled them to exchange information and ideas, and it helped them to apply higher order critical thinking and problem solving skills. Secondly, translanguaging provided benefits for their planning and organization in their group work. It helped them to demonstrate independence in distributing responsibilities and tasks amongst their peers and to coordinate their collaboration more effectively. Thirdly, the use of translanguaging led to affective or social affordances, which means that by using their shared languages, students were able to build rapport with each other, provide social emotional support, and assist each other. And fourthly, translanguaging provided linguistic and discursive affordances, which help students to learn the linguistic structures and discursive features to complete their task across not just English, but all 3 languages that they spoke. When I asked students about their reasons for using translanguaging despite the English-only policies that they were experiencing, they explained that they did it to support each other's multilingual learning, to build relationships and rapport, to resolve conflict, to assert and preserve their cultural identities, and to draw on knowledge and make connections across languages and content areas. However, my research found that there were some factors that could constrain or could motivate students' use of translanguaging. Firstly, when teachers enforced English-only policies, students, of course, felt less empowered to use all of the languages. In contrast, when teachers themselves used different languages in the classroom, students felt more comfortable to use all of the languages that they knew as well. And secondly, parents' views also shaped their children or the students' language use. Parents who prioritized English, viewing it as the only tool for social, cultural, and economic mobility, were more likely to focus predominantly on English, and so would their children. In contrast, students whose parents valued multilingualism tended to engage in translanguaging more freely, both in and out of school. And so I'll move on to the next slide now to talk about how my research has impacted my current teaching. In my own teaching, I don't enforce an English only policy, but I use a collaborative learning approach where I invite students to communicate and work together using all of their shared languages. And I observe that this approach empowers students and enables them to express all of their knowledge, ideas in any language that they feel confident and comfortable in. They also have taken on the responsibility of teaching one another and creating an environment of mutual collaboration in the classroom. I also work at the University of Toronto with pre-service and in-service teachers who are preparing to support diverse learners in K-12 classrooms in Canada. And I really believe in modeling and practicing what I teach, so I incorporate multilingual approaches into my own graduate courses. I encourage students to use languages during group discussions. I myself conduct and plan multilingual activities. I bring in multilingual books, and I even encourage students to submit their assignments multilingually. This requires additional time, planning, and effort on my part, but the outcomes have been really rewarding because I see how teachers who first come in resistant towards the use of other languages are now transforming their monolingual classes into multilingual classes, and they are witnessing their own students being enhanced in their language learning, their cognitive engagement, their academic performance, and their social connections. And I'd like to end by speaking to the TESOL teachers listening to this video from different contexts. Translanguaging is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It has to be flexible and adaptable to your own classroom context. So my message to you would be this: start by talking to your students, understanding their unique language backgrounds, experiences, challenges, and aspirations. Every student's journey is different, so try to develop strategies from the bottom up that respond to the diverse needs in your classroom. Also, trust in your own expertise and the teaching experience that you bring, but be open to stepping out of your comfort zone. Trying a new approach can be really challenging, but it's essential in order to be responsive to the multicultural and multilingual classrooms that we teach in. And I would encourage you to view your students' languages not as barriers, but as resources for their learning. By embracing a multilingual perspective, you can not only enhance English learning, but also nurture a more equitable and culturally responsive classroom where all of your students feel seen, respected, and empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajendram, for sharing such a powerful dissertation research. And I have learned a great deal from your findings and discussion, and really see how your study highlights translanguaging as such a transformative approach in our multilingual classrooms. And your research really sent us a call for the shift in our mindset from the English-only policies or practices to translanguaging practices that really draw on our students, the assets, and they bring in from all the diverse cultural linguistic backgrounds. So we really appreciate your generous offer of your time and sharing of your scholarship. So for our audience, please remember to check out our newly released research directions and also our RPC blog series written by our members from all over the world. And if you are interested in sharing your classroom research, and please feel free to reach out to me through email. And once again, thank you, Dr. Rajendram, for your time and for sharing your powerful study. And also, to our audience, thank you for watching. We really appreciate and look forward to your visit next time. Bye now.